Okay, so today we're going to be talking about what it means to cut your screen time. Is that going to be enough for you to feel like you're having a more fulfilled life? And are you going to automatically do things that you would rather do that are more productive? Or do you need something else? And should you actually be focusing on something else other than reducing your screen time? So the reason I bring this up is I did a video about going a bit more minimalist with my setup, and I got a Unihertz Jelly Star. So here it is. I did a whole other video. It's just a really small Android phone, full Android, so it does everything that a smartphone does, but really small screen, so it's hard to get too addicted to it. Now, it has made a difference because I really look at it as more of a tool now. My screen time has reduced, but it's not like super low. But I think the more important thing is that I'm doing things that are necessary there in the moment, most of the time. And there's just nothing that's going to keep me going down a rabbit hole for hours doing nothing of importance. And so that's why I wanted to make this video, is to talk about why I think screen time is not the only thing you should be looking at. And I don't think that just reducing screen time is what you need, but there is something else you need. So this is what I think people need instead. The thing is about distractions is that you have to have something to be distracting yourself with. So what I mean by that is, if you don't have anything important planned, you're not distracting yourself, you're not distracted from anything, because there has to be something to be distracted from. If you have nothing planned with your whole day, you could argue that nothing you do is possibly a distraction, because distraction by definition means you're not doing the thing you're meant to, you're doing something that's quicker, easier, more pleasurable, but maybe still productive in other ways, but it's still distraction. So where's the traction? And this comes from a book, Indistractable, which I'll put a little cover here of that book. It's a good book. And the author does talk about this to a detailed degree. I think this is a really good point, is that yes, reducing negative distractions from your life are going to be really positive, because you're not going to be going down these rabbit holes of meaninglessness when you know you've got better things to do. But the thing is, you really do need to know what those better things are, and they have to be specific enough that you know, hey, I am avoiding that right now. Knowing like, oh, I need to study more, that's not strong enough. Like, yes, that could keep you feeling, oh, I'm distracted because I'm spending more time on my phone than studying. That is evidence of, like, to some degree, this is a distraction. But I would say, right, well, reducing the screen is one element of this, but the important thing is you need to find more ways of enjoying studying and making studying a priority. You might even find that studying with a screen is more beneficial to you, because you can download lectures, you can do flashcards, there can be loads of things. So in that case, the screen time is not the problem at all. The screen could be the solution to your problem of studying more. But you need to decide that in advance, and you need to say to yourself, right, well, what is it that I want to prioritize over other things? And only then should you look at the screen time and say, even though I had a study plan with me today, and I set out what time it was going to happen today, and I didn't do it because I was playing video games, or I was playing on my phone, or I was watching YouTube, whatever it is, then you can say, yes, this is a distraction. So we'll keep those other examples in mind too, but I'm going to stick to screen time because I think it's really popular now to talk about screen time reduction. And I think, yes, it's important to think about, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have got this phone, but on its own, it doesn't mean as much as I think people think it means. Like, it's going to fill your mind with a load of nonsense if you haven't defined in advance what you want to use the screen for, right? So people's whole jobs are often digital, and you can do a lot of it on a smartphone. So if someone was doing actual work that was meaningful, connecting with people, informing themselves, gaining more knowledge from screens, you wouldn't think of the screen as the bad thing, right? It's what you do with the screen. So what I'm saying is, when you use a screen, is it intentful? Is it meaningful? And if not, then what is the meaningful thing that you want to do instead? Because if you can't clearly define that, not just in principle, not just I want to be a better student, not just I want to get fitter, but this was the plan, this is what I've set up to do in my life, and I'm not doing that, I'm doing the phone or screen time instead, then you can say, right, no, it really is the screen that's the problem. So how do I flip it around? Either by turning the screen into a positive habit that can reinforce the things that you actually want, or by reducing the screen time because, you know, you can't help yourself. Sometimes it always ends up going down a rabbit hole. Though there are other techniques there, and I could probably get into that in another video. I've actually got two laptops, and one of them is purely for work. It blocks everything that isn't productive. So it cannot go on YouTube, it cannot go on Instagram. It's just very, very plain. So when I'm on it, sometimes even if I browse the internet and I notice, hey, I read this blog and it was actually a distraction, I'll now block that website. Difference between that laptop and my other one is the other one is free. I can do whatever I want. But the one, when I pull out the work one, I know this is a work laptop. even though it's my personal laptop. And it's been set up in a way that it's not possible to do the other things. Now, that's a little bit different to like not demonizing the screen time, but it's just to illustrate the screen doesn't need to be the problem. It's the knowing what you want to do instead. And once you start to actually understand that and you see like, hey, this was my plan that was reasonable, well planned, and I could actually do it today, but I didn't because I was doing the other thing, video games, screen time, then you can start criticizing the use of the screen time. But right now, I think everyone's seeing the number of hours on screen time and thinking that is bad. I actually do think that's bad. It's bad for your eyes. I think it's bad for your mental health too much. You know, if it's like 3 or 4 hours of just phone screen time and it's not work or something beneficial, then yeah, it's bad. And for a lot of people, it's even more than that. But I do think we don't need to throw out the baby with the bathwater, because I see people going minimalist and then coming back and then they just end up in the original position. Though having said that, I've also seen people go minimalist, then say, no, I actually need a smartphone, but then be more conscious of their ability to just stick to something that is worth their time and not just a complete waste of it. But yeah, so that's it. So I'm going to keep it short there, but I think that's the concept. Just I'd like to extend the conversation, and maybe I'll do more videos because I like this topic, but I don't think screen time, the numbers, the hours itself is the best measurement. The best measurement is what is the difference between how well you've planned to find a good, workable plan to do things that are actually meaningful in your life, and how much are you able to progress with that, versus how much of it is being pulled away, distracted because of screen use, and is it actually bad things in that screen time that are keeping you away, meaningless time drains, or are you just missing a way to use screens, because you will use screens anyway, that's just modern living to some degree, to actually push forward your goals, and in which case we don't need to demonize screen time altogether. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your experiences with this, and if you have any questions or comments in the comment box below, and I'll see you in the next one. Great, look after yourself.